What is up, my fellow Chibits? Today is a very good day. An anime that truly has become one of my favorites of Fall of Anime 2017 has finally gotten a new episode. Episode 2 is out for the Ancient Magus' Bride. Oh, I love this series. I truly love this series. And I think I made it very obvious because of reviewing an OVA, which is something I don't normally do. And I know many of you Chibits that have been with me for a very long time, you know for a fact, I don't usually even talk about OVAs. Maybe I'll say like I watched it on social media, in a vlog, Chibit questions or something, but I never go out of my way to make a video on an OVA. And so for me to go out of my way to do something like that, I think I made it very clear that I like this series. And oh man, this episode was actually, it retained the quality that was already previously established, but gave us more world building that made me fascinated and wanted to know more of what was really going on and what is Chise's real purpose in this series. I mean, it's obvious that, you know, Ellis, he wants to be with her. For instance, he wants her to be the next, like, you know, apprentice, the next mage like him, but also, you know, his wife. But I feel like there's much more going on here than he's actually saying, and I believe that eventually we will find out about this, but I believe there's some stuff he's definitely not saying, because it makes you really wonder what really caught his attention. Why did he choose Chise of all people? I mean, we know that she is different. She's able to, you know, harness certain familiars or fairies and stuff around her, and then be able to, like, you know, get kindness or, you know, I guess bad things from them, like luck and bad luck. But regardless, though, it makes you wonder, how did he even become aware of her in the first place, and why was he so determined to make her his wife? So I believe one of these days, or one of these episodes, we're probably going to find out the truth of this, of why he chose her. And that's the questions that just pop up when you're watching the show, especially with episode 2. Anyways, though, getting on topic, this series, I just want to say right now, if you have still yet to watch The Ancient Magus' Bride, which is on Crunchyroll, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stop this video. Don't even come back. You don't need to come back, okay? Just go watch the episode. It's so good. It is so good. It's like seeing an anime version of Beauty and the Beast with an anime twist with some Studio Ghibli sprinkled on top. That's basically what this is. And if you like anything like that, you're gonna love this. It's so good. So anyways, okay, so this episode of The Ancient Magus' Bride does a lot of world building, a lot of clarification to what was going on when it comes to Chise's character, but also Ellis and like maybe what his angle is, but also getting to see some magic and learning about how magic is done in this world. We get to learn quite a bit actually with this episode, which I'm very happy with, because when it comes to starting a series, usually the first couple episodes or first couple chapters, they need to kind of get everybody into the series to understand what's going on and the context of it. So when you look at, you know, the pacing to the way the characters are flowing together and all of that, it seems like everything so far is really well handled. Like, it looks like the writer really knew what they were doing. They had all of this planned out, and they probably have a very long amount of stuff planned out for the series, just because you can tell by the way the writing is. In this case, the pacing of the series with the characters and all that, it's really enjoyable. Now, I do want to point out something, though. Besides just the world building, Chise as a character, there's something that really stands out, and I don't know how many of you probably noticed this, but it's something that needs to be, you know, actually noticed. Chise is a character, or a person, in this story that has went through a lot of trauma. She has experienced a lot of grief throughout her life. She is someone that has been abandoned. She is someone that was moving from family to family, you know, relative to relative, and never really had a solid foundation to stay in, and she never really had a place to ever call home whatsoever, and she's someone that lacks friends as well, and anytime she ever probably grew close to someone, they were yanked out of her life quickly. If you watch the OVAs, you know what I'm talking about. Anyone she ever grew close to, or anyone that she was slowly having a bond, or if she thought she finally had a place, she never really did. She never had a home throughout her entire life once her mother died. And to make matters worse, her mother, you know, called her like a curse and all that, and Chise carries that with her to this day. We can see that she holds this trauma within her, and something like that does not just disappear. And we could see that Chise, even while she's interacting with the characters, Ellis and all that, and then the girl and all that, that's, you know, another mage, you can see that she has not let go of her trauma. She still has it. You can see by the way she reacts, the way she sits around the corner of a door and she listens to another conversation, eavesdropping. You can see that these are habits. Like, she's used to people, putting her down or saying she's cursed or saying she's weird or awful or whatever. They need to get rid of her. She's used to these things. And so when you see these little slight interactions of her character, when she's listening in from the side or whatever, she's looking at someone while they're doing their work, you can see that she holds this trauma very deeply. And it's going to be a very long time until she probably finally lets go of that. And I really like the way the structure of this is when it comes to Chisei's character. Now, another thing to notice is that when it comes to the dynamic of Chisei, she is someone that clearly, even though she's been given a choice, she's able to do whatever she wants. She's able to determine if she wants to be an apprentice, the bride to this, well-renowned mage or whatever. She has a choice here. And even though she technically has a choice, she's still getting pulled around as if she doesn't have a choice. And many might look at this as if, like, why is this happening? You gotta remember, she has been a person that has been moved around her entire life and never really had something stable, and she's also never really had, like, a parent to watch over her. So in this case, Ellis is, like, even though he wants to be, like, her husband, he's also more like a parental figure as well. He's trying to let Chisei feel normal, allow her to learn things. In this way, when he's dragging her around from place to place or whatever, he's kind of treating her like a child, trying to raise her. But also, we gotta remember, if you watch the OVAs, he doesn't really have a really good understanding of humans in general. I mean, you can even see that in this episode. Even if you haven't seen the OVA, he doesn't have the best understanding of humanity. Because, number one, when he talks to Chisei and he, mentions, what happened to her parents, the way he was so blunt about it proves that he definitely is someone that doesn't understand the context of, how bad that is, or to ask something like that. It was very messed up in a way. It was very, I guess, it's just not right. It wasn't right. Now, it needed to be said, he needed to be blunt in a way, but at the same time, the way he acted wasn't, something you would normally do to someone, especially if they've been through something. It's not nice to pry into someone's past. And so it shows that he lacks certain things that, humans have. And like I said, we get to see a little bit of a glimpse of this as he's trying to learn stuff like this throughout the OVAs. So when you see this, you know for a fact that he doesn't truly grasp the situation, probably what Chisei has went through. And maybe the moral on the reason why he has Chisei there is for he can learn to be a better person, but also get out of this old habit of where he's like a hermit. Because we have heard multiple times throughout the first episode and this episode, he is a hermit. He's not supposed to, normally leave at all. He usually stays and chills and sits by himself. So when you see how his interactions have recently been, he's been trying to change himself. So something happened in his life for him to want to change himself, for him to want to, be something different, have something different in his life. And it makes you wonder why he chose this path. Why is he going down this path? So I like this. I really like the setup of the series and the way it's presenting these certain things when it comes to Ellis's character, or also as, Chisei and what she's going through as well. So anyways, besides the insensitive stuff that he said, you also get to look at the fact that he clearly doesn't want her to come to any harm. We see when she is actually finally using magic for the first time, he actually stops her. He puts his hand over her eyes, and then, he wakes her up from, whatever vision she was having, and she wakes up and realizes what she was doing. In this case, it seems like, he obviously knows something about her. He knows something really, really strange about her, besides just what she is and how she's unique. There's definitely something else off about her, but it's not just that, though. You can see that he realized that she is undergoing a lot of problems, and he didn't want her to think about it anymore. When he did that, he made it to where she no longer was, seeing her memories and stuff. So I do like this. I do like the integration of that, and how magic is being incorporated with Chisei's character and her past, and how these emotions could possibly fuel her to probably even accidentally do something relatively bad. So, anyways, let's talk about how the visuals of this episode was just something else. Can I just talk about how the creature designs, the familiars and stuff, the little fantasy creatures, fairies, to the little lizard and all that, can I just talk about how cute and amazing the designs are for this series? It's not just the fact that the artwork when it comes to the characters, Ellis or, Chisei or whatever, the human characters or half, human characters look really good. The fact is that this world looks really nice. And just in terms of visuals when it comes to these fantasy creatures, when you see that little lizard and all that just being very cute and just cuddling around Chisei, I'm like, this is That's too adorable. It's really, really adorable. I know for a fact, if this series becomes very popular, that's probably going to become a plushie. I can already see it now. I could definitely see one of those lizards or whatever becoming a plushie type toy for people in Japan just because of how cute it was. If the series obviously becomes popular. Now, besides that as well, besides just the amazing designs of the fantasy creatures and all that visuals, backgrounds, the music. The music definitely needs to be noted with, this series. I mentioned it slightly in my first impressions, but I think I need to really get into it with this video because there was a certain segment of the episode when they were traveling through train and stuff that we heard music playing in the background. There was no, audio. No one was talking or anything in this segment, but there was just music playing in the background, and a lot of scenes like this can be very powerful. Just like how I said in my previous, review, my first impressions, I said a lot of scenes can be very powerful if there is no audio. If it's just completely silent and all you hear is sound effects or whatever, it can make a scene very powerful. But the same thing can be said for, scenes with no audio, like in terms of just dialogue, with just music in the background, and it made for a very powerful moment just to see that Chisei, she finally was going back to where she finally belongs, or a place she can slightly call home. And when they were traveling back and all that, it was just a really emotional moment, and it really got you just to, appreciate how Chisei's finally out of this difficult life she has been in. So, yeah, that's about it besides the final segment of the episode, which is a dragon. So, the overall segment at the end, I'm just like, whoa, what just happened? Like, a dragon came out of nowhere, grabbed Chisei, flew up in the air, and then episode ends. So it's obvious the way this is structured. It was for a cliffhanger. I think it's very obvious. I don't know if the manga handled it quite like this, but it's very obvious by the way that scene was done. It's for just a cliffhanger reason. I don't believe that Chisei is in probably any danger. I truly don't believe so, but it's obvious that scene was just used for a cliffhanger. Now, I'm very curious if this new character being introduced, if he's going to be a possible love interest for Chisei. I hope this doesn't become a harem or anything, or a reverse harem. I really hope it doesn't, because if there's one thing I don't like about romance series, it's the fact that when a new love interest is introduced just to slow down the plot, and I've heard a lot of good things about this series. A lot of, readers of the series have told me that this is not your typical romance, so I have a lot of faith in this series. I just hope the new character isn't a love interest just for the sole purpose of slowing down the plot. That's the only thing I'm worried about. If it's not, if the character's not being introduced for that, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, that's about it when it comes to the latest episode of The Ancient Magus' Bride. It was a wonderful episode. Probably one of my favorite episodes I'll watch this week besides Inuyashiki. So if you've yet to watch this, what are you doing? Go watch it. And if you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like my video, please leave a like. And if you want to support me for I can continue to focus on YouTube, then go in the description and support me on Patreon. Now, one last thing I want to state before I end this video. Apparently, many of you have not been getting notifications for my recent uploads I've been doing this week. So if for some reason you're still not getting notifications for my uploads and you're watching this video now and realize that, right next to the subscribe button down below, there's a bell icon. If you click that, you should, from now on, get notifications for when I upload a video. So, just letting you all know that right now. So, you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.